I have here a piece of string which can be examined. I have here a piece of paper. The string goes into the piece of paper right here. It's folded inside, and now you can clearly see the ends on each side. I'm going to take my scissors here and we're going to cut right through. Check this out. This is indeed magic, because if I snap my finger, I can pull the string out intact. And as you can see, this has been cut into 2 pieces. Have here a napkin, and now ends are clearly in sight. We're going to take this napkin and cover the coin. Just remember that the ends of the string have been in place the entire time. And now I want to show you the coin. It's actually halfway, almost penetrating the string at this point. So once again, I'm gonna make sure the ends are in clear sight, and right there, the coin comes off, and that is the Chinese coin or washer off the string. Here's what you're going to need for the trick. You're going to need 1 length of string, 2 smaller lengths of string, and all you're doing is tying these short lengths on the longer ones. I'm going to tie this one here. Don't tie it too tight, but don't tie it loose enough that it falls. But you want a knot on there that slides. And we'll do that one more time here. And it looks, for all practical purposes, like 3 strings that you've tied together. All you do is take your strings, bring it out, show it, and then take your hand, place it into the cup, and then as you pull up, you slide the strings off of the rope. Slide the knots off the string, and you come up with 1 piece of string. Here's how to perform the cut and restored string. What's really cool about this trick is all you need is a piece of paper or some cardstock. You need some string, which won't get cut, and you need some scissors. That's all you need, and there's not even any gimmicking beforehand. Now here's what happens. You place the string into the paper here. Hopefully you can see that well. Now, as you fold this bottom part up, right here, you actually lift up the string so you have a loop here. It's a little awkward here from this angle, but anyways, bear with me. What you need is a loop. Hopefully you can see that right there, a little loop. String is still running through the card or piece of paper, but there's a hidden loop that spectators don't know about from this angle. Now, second part is to fold this flap down. And as you fold it, you make sure that there's a little bit of loop right there hanging down. And that's the secret to the trick. In order to not cut the string is actually outside. Now see, from the front, looks as if the string is legitimately running through the paper, and yes it is, but on the back you have this additional loop here. Let me just show you again how that looks. It might come apart here, so bear with me, but you have this additional loop here, and then you bend this down and you end up with a loop here. Now for the cutting part, what you have to do is take your scissors, and as you cut, you put the blade, one blade of the scissor under the loop right here. Hopefully you can see that well. And then as you cut, see, you're not actually cutting the string right there. Give you a better view there. Continue cutting. Spectators see the pieces of paper being cut, but you can actually pull through the string and it's intact. Spectators can examine the pieces of paper as well as everything, and you're clean. You're gonna need a string, piece of string, and string is ungimmicked. You're gonna need a napkin, handkerchief, and finally you're gonna need 2 identical Chinese coins or washers. And this is the secret to the trick. So, just as I showed you in the demonstration here, you string the coin or washer onto the string. Spectators can hold both ends. They can examine everything. Now, when I bring out the cloth or napkin, and it's important to make sure the ends are always in plain view to your spectators. What spectators don't know is you have a second washer in your hand. Now here's what happens underneath the cover of the handkerchief. What you do is you take the second washer and you take a loop here under the handkerchief. Spectators don't know about this part. The loop goes through the coin and then around the outside. And then you simply pull, and it looks something like this. The coin looks like it's still on the string, but it's actually off. Now, the other sneaky part of this is you have your handkerchief covering this. You have 2 washers. One is actually on the string. That's the one from the beginning. This one is actually not on the string. And then you say, I'm going to show you the coin or washer when it's halfway through. So what you do is you pull your hands out, you unveil this washer here, and then what you do is you kind of casually grab the strings from your spectators and they'll let go. Meanwhile, you grabbed this washer through the handkerchief here, and then you can kind of hold it up. You don't need to hold it up, that's optional. But all you're doing is you're just removing this with the hidden washer. So, under cover of the handkerchief, the spectators think that this is the same washer when it's not. And then at this point, all you have to do is undo this by removing the loop around the coin and pull the coin through, and spectators can examine everything and they won't be able to figure out the secret. Here's what you're going to need for the trick. You will need 5 beads. Actually, you can use more. It's not that important, but the key thing is the center bead here. You want the diameter to easily accept a couple layers of the strings, and you're going to need 2 strings. So the string is going to be determined, or the type of string you use will be determined by the center bead here. You'll want the other beads to at least be the same size as the center bead in terms of its diameter, hole diameter there. But this is the key to the entire trick, and these here on the side can be a little larger. And again, you need 2 strings. And here's the setup. Now you do this ahead of time when nobody's around. You fold you have 2 strings approximately the same size. You fold it in half, and then you thread 2 of the beads onto the doubled over string. So we've done it there, and we'll do the same thing with the other side. Happen to be using these beads that have letters on them. You can use any beads that you like. I just thought these are kind of cool because they say magic. All right. Now we've got the folded over string here, 2 beads on there, folded over here, 2 beads on there. Now here's the key. What you have to do is take your center bead, thread that through the string. I think you can see that. Now you're going to take the other one and thread it through. Second one there. Fold this over. Now take this bead and then jam it in. Just like that. You want it just enough that it can hold. So I think you can see at this point, if your string diameter is too small for the bead, then it's not going to hold very well. You actually have some flexibility here, but if your string is too big, then you're going to have problems. If your string is too big, then you're going to have problems causing this fold over. But at this point, you can show your necklace. Now you're ready to perform the trick. I think this is kind of cool with the beads because you could actually wear this as a necklace and untie it off your neck, and then you show your spectators you have 2 strings running through your beaded necklace. And then to perform the trick, what you do is show to spectators there are 2 strings running through the beads. Take 2 of the ends and say, I'm going to try something here, and just for more security, I'm going to take these 2 and tie it. So just as you would when you begin your tying your shoes, you just make your X, place it under, and pull. And from this point, the trick pretty much works itself. So if you like, it's kind of cool to have the spectator cover this, or you can cover it with something else. But I'll just show you the exposed view here. When you pull the strings here, the beads come undone, and spectators can see that inside are 2 normal strings. They can examine everything. You're left completely clean.